A lot of people ask me, where do I get the confidence, or how did I build the confidence in order to do the things that I do? How I'm able to go up and talk to people, how I'm able to negotiate, how I'm able to get things done and have confidence and just be a confident person around anybody that I'm around. Obviously, I'm not 100% confident in everything. There's obviously levels of my life that I wish were better. Nobody's perfect. Everybody will get better in some way. But I would say the number one thing that I would say that you need to do in order to get confident and just learn how to be a better overall person is by asking for a better deal, right? Now, what does that mean? When you are going about your life, there is going to be three options, right? Always three options for everything. And this guy talks about it in his book, The Third Door, right? There's the option one, the path that everybody goes down, the door to the club that's everybody's in line for, right? One big line. And then there's second line where all the rich people are at, the VIPs, everybody's there. And then there's a third way to get into that club. It's by breaking through the back entrance and jumping through the window, right? There is always a third option. There is always a way to get around and get to the thing that you want. And why do I say this? It's because I learned this lesson the hard way. And I'm trying to teach you how to not learn this lesson the hard way, right? So I run and operate a small business, a live company. If you didn't know, I have an Etsy store where I sell posters. I love it. It's a lot of fun. But running a business is expensive. And as somebody who runs a business that doesn't really turn that much profit, I have to save money any single way that I possibly can. And how do I do that? It's by asking. Now, you may say to yourself, how does asking help at all with running a business? It is literally the only thing that has kept my business going. It's asking. Every single thing you do in your life is an ask. You have to ask yourself if you want to do something. You have to ask another person for help when you need help. You have to ask and just do, and you have to create so many things in life, and that always starts with just asking first, right? So when I started my business, I asked myself, do I really want to do this? And when I started this YouTube channel, I asked myself, do I really want to do this? And the fact that I answered yes, and I went through it, and I actually didn't lie to myself is really, really important. So there's two levels of asking. There's the actual physical level of asking, where you're like going up to people, talking, asking for help, like that type of asking, like physical, literal asking. And then there's like metaphysical and spiritual asking. It's asking yourself, like your soul, your existence, like what am I to this world? What will I do? Like what is my why? You know what I mean? That's like an ask. And knowing that and like having a sense of that is super, super important, because without that, you're kind of just lost, right? And so refocusing back onto the topic, how to get the best deals possible, how to be the most confident person possible, I think that you have to start with asking. I'll give you an example. The first time I bought posters for my Etsy store, I had to go through FedEx. And FedEx is very expensive when it comes to selling posters. I think they sell each poster for $2.50 each. Now, if I sell each poster for, let's say, $10, and then Etsy takes a flat fee out of another like 20% or something like that, I'm only making $5 per poster. And that is just not worth it for me, because the gas that it takes for me to get to the post office, the time and energy it takes for me to print the labels, to label everything, to get everything done, it's just not worth it, right? So I had to find a solution. I had to ask. First thing I did was I asked Google. I said, hey Google, how do I run this business better? Hey Google, how do I get to a level that I want to be? And like, I know it is 2024 and people still have to say, just Google things. I mean, literally, the information is all out there. Like me telling you this and me talking to you about this is literally just repackaging information that I've already learned by Googling stuff. Just think about that, right? I don't want you to click off this video. If anything, please leave a like and subscribe, but think about how much information and knowledge is out there. If you want to be a confident person, if you want to be a knowledgeable person, if you want to get the best deal in life, you have to be willing to ask. So I had humility. I was like, hey Google, how the hell do I run my business better? How the hell do I lower costs? What do I do? And the first thing that comes up is some scam website that wants to make me print 1,000 posters, or it was a bad deal basically, right? And you have to be able to see that. Sometimes the first answer isn't the correct one. And this is a good lesson because as soon as you learn the first time, you won't ever make the mistake again. But don't make expensive mistakes. Always make a mistake that's at least $100 or less, because you can make $100 or less easily back, but you can't make $200 like easily back. That's a little bit more work, right? $100, it's fine. You can make a $100 mistake, it's all right. Back to the story about my business. So I had to ask Google. Google didn't have the answer. What do you do then? You ask again. I go to a friend. This friend of mine is an artist. She works with prints. She makes posters. She makes her own art and everything like that. And she recommends me a service, Cat Print. Cat Print's awesome. I use it all the time now, right? I'm using the service. Everything's great. The product comes out amazing, but I'm like, this is still not enough. And why do I say that? Why can't I just be happy with what I have? Because there is just money being left on the table. There is just opportunity being left on the table by asking. So you know what I do? I get on the phone and I contact Cat Print and I say, hey, I'm a first-time buyer. Is there any way that we can make this deal better? Is there any way that I can, lock myself into your company if you just give me one gesture of kindness? And you know what? They gave me 15% off my first order. Just because I asked. Like, you don't have to put in that much effort to ask, right? Not many people ask. Everybody will take things face value. Everybody will just say, okay, that's just the way it is. It's okay. If you want to be a confident person, if you want to get the best deal in life, if you want to be somebody who doesn't leave anything on the table, just ask. I'll give you another example. Same thing, same business. I have these posters, but how am I going to ship these posters, right? Like, I need a way to ship lots and lots of posters. And how do I do that? You have to buy freaking cardboard tube rollers. You got to protect these things, right? How do you get a good deal on that? You ask a friend. You say, hey, friend, do you have anybody else who you recommend for shipping things? And my friend says, no. I sell most of my stuff at conventions, so I don't really need to ship things. Or I deal with a wholesaler who ships everything out for me. I'm like, crap, what do? I use Google again. I go back. Just because it didn't work the first time doesn't mean it won't work again for another question. I go back to Google. I look up cardboard, packaging, everything near me. The first thing that comes up is a cardboard company that's literally like next to me. It's like 5 minutes away from me. I contact them. I say, hey, I really love your guys' products. I need this much shipped to me. Can we work out a deal? And then remember guys, this is already a discounted price. This is like a first-time buyer. I'm looking at it right now and I say, I already know I'm getting a good deal on this, right? But how can I not leave anything on the table? So I contact them, I call them, I say, hey, I'm a local business owner. I want to use your guys' products. I just need help with the price. I promise I'll work with you guys from now on if if you do this, if you help me out. And you know what? They did help me out. And you know what? I do buy products from them because it just takes asking. All you have to do is ask in life, right? If you don't know something, find that information out. Do not be somebody who sits on their ass and just doesn't do anything. If you need to get to somewhere, if you have something that you need in life, you will not get there without asking. Essentially, every single time I put out a video, I'm asking you whether or not your attention is worth the words that I'm saying. I'm hoping that every single thing I'm saying here is worth your time. And I know it is. When you go throughout a life of turmoil, when you go throughout a life of not having things, right, you will become resourceful. If you lived the life of comfort, if you woke up in silk sheets every day, you're going to have the comfortability. You're going to be able to say to yourself, it's not even worth asking. My time is more valuable. I'll just pay the full price. I and many other people are not at that level. You need to get to that level before you can start saying it's not worth asking, because my 5 minutes are valuable, but my 5 minutes of communication are still worth like 15, 20% off of a big bulk order. It's like 5 minutes. 5 minutes. How much is your 5 minutes worth? If your 5 minutes is worth more than like, I don't know, $20, $30, then fine. Then you know what? You don't have to ask. but my 5 minutes is definitely not worth that much just yet. So I ask, but don't pigeonhole yourself into this mindset, right? You notice how I say it's not yet? I want you to think that this is just a stepping stone. This is just the start, right? By asking, you're opening yourself up to more opportunity. By asking, you are giving yourself confidence to know that there's always a better deal on the table. When you ask, you will become better. Now, how do you deal with that first rejection? I think the first thing you have to do is understand that it's not personal. Business is usually never personal. Unless you're working with your family members, unless you're working with your loved one, like then it starts getting personal. But if you're not and you're just doing business strictly on your own, it's not personal, right? The best way to do something is by having the knowledge and having the foresight beforehand, not making the mistakes, having somebody to tell you this is how the way it's supposed to be done, and just knowing that that's the thing that's going to get done. If you don't have that, you will make a lot of costly mistakes, and hopefully it's less than a $100 mistake. My $50 mistake was thinking that I could trust somebody off of Mercari. And I don't know if you ever use one of those Facebook Marketplace, like Facebook, whatever apps, but those apps you definitely got to be careful about, and I made a $50 mistake. I thought that I crossed all my T's. I was buying a PlayStation Vita. The guy, I say, hey man, he says, I'm going to ship it to you. I said, okay, can you put it in a container and can you, put a label on it? I didn't even say put a label. Can you just send me a video of you putting the thing in the mailbox, right? I should have framed this thing. He sends me a video. He says, here you go, boss man. Those are his words. It's a letter, right? It looks filled. It's like, man, that's a chunky letter. He puts it in the thing. I'm like, oh man, I really hope that thing doesn't get broken in the mail. It's a freaking letter. How are you going to put a PS Vita in the letter? I was like, he probably wrapped it up, right? No, I should have rewatched the video one more time. I should have had the foresight. I should have learned earlier. But no, I was like, man, I'm going to get that PS Vita. I can't wait to repair it because I used to own a console repair business. So I send him money. I send him 25, right? And I said, I'll send you the other 25 when you ship the thing. You know what comes in the mail? A letter full of paper. A letter with my address on it, right? My home address, where my family lives, and paper filled inside of the thing. And I just lost $50. And although, I called my freaking bank, I said, hey, this Cash App shit, I got scammed, right? They were like, we can't do anything about it because it's just transferred. It's transferred. It's gone. I had to learn that lesson. You don't have to learn that lesson. You have to ask. You have to ask more than once. You have to ask twice. You have to ask 3 times. You have to be sure. You also have to be listening, right? You can't be asking dumb questions as in something that the guy has already said, right? That proves you're not listening. But if you're asking smart questions, insightful questions, questions that will show that you are understanding what he is saying, but what the other guy said maybe wasn't so clear, right? Those are the type of questions you should be asking. You should be asking a question that the guy says, that's a good question, right? If you're not, then pay attention. Stop talking, stop asking, and listen. If you do that, you'll become more confident, you will get the best deal, and you will become a better person all around. Now, I want to wrap this video up with one more thing. My question to you is, did you actually get value from this video? Did you learn something? And can you leave a comment down below? That's all I ask. Comment down below, comment what you liked about the video, what you didn't like about the video, anything. I would appreciate any and all comments below. This is Matt from Live Company. I hope you learned something. Peace.